noticing the most bizarre pattern in the beauty industry lately? Makeup launch after makeup launch is being described as a skincare launch. The prime example of this, the new blushes from Glow Recipe that they just announced. These are inarguably a blush. They look like a blush. They have the pigment of a blush. They apply, they sit on the skin like a blush. It is a pink tinted product on the cheek. It's a blush. But the brand is adamant that it's not a blush, it's a flush.
And these aren't color products, to be clear, with a touch of skincare. They're a whole new world of true skincare formulations that boost your confidence and your glow without covering up, again, like you said, what makes you unique.
We're so excited to finally share with you this incredible innovation.
Meet Watermelon Glow Niacinamide Dewy Flush, our first brightening tinted cheek serum that gives you a naturally gorgeous flush.
Wait, did you say blush?
Actually, it's a flush, not a blush.
But not only are brands doing this, we're doing this too. I saw a video the other day that started with someone saying, would you believe that I'm not wearing any makeup at all? And then she goes in to describe her base routine, and it is what I would describe as a full face of makeup. She applied a tinted sunscreen that had an equivalent amount of coverage to a standard foundation, a serum-y type of blush on the cheeks, a tinted lip oil, an SPF setting powder, like a full face of makeup. And I keep asking the question, what is the aversion to calling makeup makeup? That was the Glow Recipe Niacinamide Hue Drops in the new Rosy shade. Now I'm gonna go in with a little bit of the Fenty Soft Lit Foundation, but I was really excited to talk about this topic today in Makeup Musings because it builds on the last video that I posted in this series about plastic surgery. So if you haven't seen that video yet, I'll leave it linked down below, but I talked in that video about plastic surgery and other cosmetic procedures replacing makeup, and people are having these more permanent treatments done as a way to no longer have to wear makeup every single day. We're now expected to invest in beauty treatments that look like we're not wearing anything at all. We've traded in our makeup products for semi-permanent and sometimes actually permanent beauty treatments. Because who needs to fill in their eyebrows when brow tinting and lamination exists? Who needs to apply lipstick when lip blushing exists? Who needs to wear mascara when lash lifts and lash tints exist? Who needs concealer when blepharoplasties and PRF under eye injections exist? Who needs blush and highlighter when cheek filler exists? But in reality, it requires just as much, and actually debatably more, maintenance than the popular makeup looks that preceded it. And that video, while it's talked about through the lens of plastic surgery, we're talking about a similar idea just from two different perspectives here. Ultimately, there is an aversion to wearing makeup, or at least wanting to believe that we're wearing makeup. Whether we're then having these semi-permanent and sometimes permanent procedures done to cosmetically enhance our faces, or if we're applying a full face of skincare products that are still working like makeup, but we're not calling it makeup. And this aversion to wearing makeup has manifested in a lot of the beauty trends that we saw in 2024. Some that I've talked extensively about in recent videos, like no mascara, no concealer, no eyeshadow. Everything is apparently out. No one wants to wear makeup anymore, or at least they don't want to say they're wearing makeup, but they still want to be perfected. They want to be natural. And going back to the Glow Recipe example, that product is inarguably a blush. Visually, it is going to give you the result of a blush. But now the brand and ultimately the user gets to claim that they're not wearing blush, it's just skincare. Very clever rebranding, right? So my question is, when and why did the beauty industry distance itself from makeup? Have to say it started with the skinification of beauty. Now don't come for me, I did not make that term up. Skinification is when skincare benefits and ingredients are infused into other products like makeup, hair care, body care, fragrance, all of the above. When we look back on this decade of makeup, when we look back on the 20s, and I talked about this a bit in another video recently talking about the prominence of the clean girl trend, and I know we're only in the halfway point of the 20s, but I'm confident that when we look back on this decade of beauty and we call out some of the major themes, Undeniably, like skincare infused makeup is going to be a hallmark of this time, the skinification of makeup and beauty in general, because it's not just makeup. We're seeing it in hair care as well. Like there's so much focus on scalp care. We're seeing active ingredients that traditionally we saw only in facial skincare products. We're now seeing like AHAs, other exfoliating products in our hair care products. Everything has a skin focus right now. We're also seeing it in some unexpected categories. You know, think of all the deodorants that have launched that have exfoliating properties to them, that have different scents. Think about Bella Hadid's perfume line, Orabella, that's really presented as being this like good for the skin perfume. It's alcohol free, it's got nourishing ingredients. We're seeing skinification in everything. Necessaire even has a lube, yes, lube, that touts skincare ingredients that are good for you in it. Research firm Circana released an article about skinification last year. They write, when serum foundations launched, the primary difference was the addition of pigment. During this time, makeup sales skyrocketed, growing double digits. And while part of that growth was regaining volume lost during the pandemic, another factor was the innovation that skinification brought to the category. They say more than 50% of US customers seek products that combine makeup and skincare in one, with just over 60% of Gen Z and millennials aligning with this sentiment. And when it comes to makeup, this wasn't always the case. Now, certainly there were some brands infusing skincare into their makeup products long before this started becoming trendy and popular, but it's gotten to a point where it's no longer this like fun, unique additional selling point. It's kind of mandatory. It's like an expectation from the consumer that their makeup products will be infused with high quality skincare ingredients. And even scrolling through Sephora, if you look at the names of these products, the skincare ingredients are part of the name. Just a few to illustrate my point. And then these are long names, okay, bear with me. The Huda Beauty Easy Blur Foundation. The full name of that product is the Huda Beauty Easy Blur Natural Airbrush Foundation with niacinamide. We also have the House Labs Triclone Skin Tech Medium Coverage Foundation with fermented arnica. The Kosas BB Burst Tinted Moisturizer Gel Cream with copper peptides. The Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Soothing Serum Skin Tint Foundation with peptides and ceramides. And I could go on and on. This is like the new naming pattern for foundations. The full name includes that like standout skincare ingredient because it's become an expectation. And when brands aren't just boasting about these standout ingredients in the names and in the advertising, they are straight up calling these makeup products skincare. Just skincare. Again, completely distancing the product from makeup. For example, the Drunk Elephant Rosy Drops. I'm sorry, that's a blush. You could apply it all over the face. You could use it in different ways, but at the end of the day, it is a pink tinted product that people are applying right here. It's a blush. And don't even get me started on tinted sunscreens. When they have a full shade range of colors and an equivalent level of pigment and coverage as a foundation, it's a foundation. It might also have SPF in it, but it's a foundation. Another big approach they like to say is like tinted serum. I've seen this used to describe blushes or foundations, like, oh, it's not a foundation, it's a tinted serum. Well, if it has pigment, it's providing coverage, you could just call it a foundation. So why are they doing this? Why not just call it what it is? Why not just say that it's a foundation? Well, for one, it's a lot easier to convince the consumer that they need to purchase something if they believe it to be something else. I did an entire video on this probably a year ago that I'll leave linked down below, but I talked in that video about the idea of these like magical new categories that brands seem to be coming out with left and right. Bronzer drops, every brand launched bronzer drops last year, when that is just a liquid bronzer. But a consumer that already maybe has a couple liquid bronzers doesn't need another one. And so therefore you have to convince them that this is a magical new product. It's not a liquid bronzer, they're actually bronzer drops. Same thing with blush drops, which have also been gaining momentum. And going back to the Glow Recipe example, and I don't mean to pick on Glow Recipe, it is just the most prominent recent example for me to use as an illustration here, but especially considering how popular blush has been the last few years, We have all purchased a million blushes recently. I mean, I'm generalizing here, but I know so many people have been purchasing blush in excess recently. The popularity of blush also created blush blindness. That trend we saw last year of like, are we wearing too much blush? It's been blush mania. So at this point, for Glow Recipe to release a blush might be a hard sell for the consumer. So instead, rebranding it as not a blush, but a flush gives them a different angle, a better opportunity to sell that to the consumer. Because maybe you've purchased a million blushes in the last 2 years, but have you purchased a flush yet? Because that's different. Apparently. Another explanation is that it falls in line with the popularity of clean beauty and greenwashing as well. Because now these companies can position their products as being clean and natural. You know, oh, this isn't makeup, ew, dirty, gross. This is skincare.
Powered by 100% skincare, so you never have to worry that looking good today will set skin back tomorrow.
It also falls in line with the increased popularity of these multi-use, all-in-one products. Think about the prominence of the bronzer, which combines blush and bronzer. This idea of a skincare makeup hybrid is sold to the consumer as this really easy product to kind of simplify their life. Perfect example, the Atelier Super Serum Skin Tint. This product has an equivalent, if not higher amount of coverage than most of my foundations. It is very high coverage. But the description on Sephora says that it is a tinted serum with light dewy coverage, mineral SPF, and potent levels of skincare ingredients. And they sell the product by saying that it combines makeup, skincare, and SPF into one step. You know, what could be easier? You're simplifying your life. Not to mention the fact, and we've been talking about this as well in a lot of recent videos, makeup sales are declining. Circana reported after Q1 of 2024 that skincare dollars increased by 10% in the prestige channel and was the fastest growing category in the mass market, aka the drugstore. They say there were more buyers both spending more money and purchasing more frequently on skincare products. And alternatively, they say makeup wrapped up Q1 as the softest performing category in both prestige and mass markets. Naturally, we're seeing these brands position the products not as makeup, because people don't want to buy makeup right now, but it's skincare. It's actually just skincare. Pause to say, I'm gonna link everything down below as always, but I was mixing liquid highlight plus a liquid blush. I always love that combo to get just like this glowy effect on the cheeks. This is Saie, Rosy, and Rare Enchant. But on top of all of that, there's been a pretty undeniable societal shift away from makeup. I've been talking about the undetectable era in so many recent videos. There's this pressure to look effortlessly perfect. And the skinification, I know, it's a cringy word, but again, I didn't make it up. But the skinification of makeup plays into this narrative perfectly. Because then we can say, you know what, I'm not even wearing makeup, I'm just wearing skincare. And it feels, again, like a similar topic to what we talked about in that plastic surgery video. In that video, I broke down the idea of the high maintenance things that I do to stay low maintenance trend. And I kind of debunked that idea in the video. It's the illusion of being low effort, when in reality it's not. The phrase high maintenance things that I do to stay low maintenance has gotten pretty popular in the beauty community recently. And dare I say this is a completely nonsensical oxymoronic phrase. You cannot simultaneously be high maintenance and low maintenance. The same thing could be said about skincare makeup. Same illusion exists there of like, oh, I'm not wearing makeup, just skincare, when in reality it's a similar amount of products, a similar cost, a similar amount of effort for you to apply it. The only real difference is that maybe you'll see a marginally different result on your skin because these products have other ingredients in them. But even still, personally, I want to get my skincare from skincare products. That way I can layer them in a way that's conducive to my skin and its needs. I kind of want my makeup to be makeup, but that might be just me. And I really don't see this stopping anytime soon. Inevitably, we are going to see it more and more. And once you notice it, you really can't unsee it. Like going back to the idea of the products on Sephora, like start paying attention when you see the full names listed. The skincare ingredients are always in the like call out highlights there. Okay, this powder from Polite Society, I have been loving so much. And dare I say, I think I like it more. I think it has replaced my top two powders before that were always like neck and neck, the Huda Beauty and the Jones Road. This even more blurring and perfecting. But it's super duper matte. Like you have to like a matte look. It's so nice though. But I really think this, much like most things, falls back on just an unrealistic expectation for women in general. The idea that you have to look perfect and put together at all times while still being totally natural and not really doing anything, you know? And that was really the idea behind that plastic surgery video that I posted 1 to 2 weeks ago, where you're almost not allowed to like show the effort, aka like wear makeup, but you still have to look perfect. And the skinification of makeup is the same thing in a different font. You have to still be flawless, perfected, but also natural, and you can't be wearing any makeup, so instead we're calling skincare makeup kind of as this like loophole rebrand, when in reality, there's nothing wrong with wearing makeup. We shouldn't feel so ashamed that we almost have to do this mental gymnastics to convince ourselves that it's not even really makeup. There's also nothing wrong with skincare in makeup products. You know, when it's done well, it can be lovely. But let's not allow this clever rebrand to trick us into thinking we're buying something that we're not. Okay, for lips, this is the Saie lip liner in the shade French. It has been my go-to recently. Topped with a little bit of the Typology lip oil in the shade Powder Pink. Okay, nothing on the eyes today. We did kind of a no makeup look in the theme of this video, but let me know your thoughts down below. Do you think this is the end of makeup, or is it just a clever rebrand? I would have to say just a sneaky rebrand, but I hope you enjoyed this video. I will leave the plastic surgery one link down below if you want to see that one, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.